On the night of December 6, 1991, in Austin, Texas, it was winding down for the weekend. The air carried a winter chill as teenagers gathered at movie theaters, shopping centers, and fast food spots. At a small strip mall on West Anderson Lane, for girls, full of laughter, energy, and teenage dreams, ended their night at a place that seemed as ordinary and safe as any other. And I can't believe it's a yogurt shop. Inside were Jennifer Harbison, 17, her sister Sarah, 15, their friend Eliza Thomas, 17, and Amy Ayers, just 13 years old. To anyone passing by, it looked like the perfect picture of friendship. Young girls finishing a shift, planning a sleepover, giggling about crushes, and talking about the future. By midnight, their futures were gone. Firefighters responded to a blaze at the yogurt shop around 12:30 a.m. What they found inside would forever haunt the city. The fire was no accident. It was meant to erase the evidence of an unthinkable crime. For girls lay murdered, bound and gagged, each shot execution style. The fire had blackened their bodies, but not the horror of what had happened. The yogurt shop murders, as they became known, were the most brutal killings Austin, Texas had ever seen. Overnight, the city's sense of safety was destroyed. Parents clutched their children closer. Teenagers looked over their shoulders. And police faced a mystery that would span decades. The early investigation was frantic. Police combed through charred evidence, interviewed employees, questioned customers, and gathered over 50 suspects in the first weeks. The community demanded answers. For a time, authorities believed they had their killers. In 1999, for young men, Maurice Pierce, Michael Scott, Robert Springsteen, and Forrest Wellborn were arrested. Police said they had confessions. The community breathed a sigh of relief, but the relief didn't last. Defense attorneys revealed those confessions had been coerced, extracted after hours of grueling interrogations. There was no physical evidence tying the men to the crime scene. Over the years, charges fell apart, convictions were overturned, and the state admitted it could not prove its case. For the victims' families, it was devastation on top of devastation. Not only were their daughters gone, but justice slipped through their fingers again and again. The case grew cold, yet like an ember buried deep, it never fully died. Forensic science in the early 1990s was limited. DNA testing existed, but it was crude, unreliable, and often inconclusive. But science doesn't stand still. By the 2010s and beyond, new methods emerged: advanced DNA sequencing, YSTR testing, and genealogy databases capable of turning tiny fragments into full profiles. Detectives quietly began submitting old yogurt shop evidence for retesting. And then came the breakthrough. On charred material recovered from the scene, scientists found a genetic fingerprint. It belonged not to the 4 wrongfully accused men, nor anyone previously suspected. Instead, it pointed to an entirely new individual, a man who had lived in Texas during the time of the murders, but who had never been on police radar. But there was another twist. The man was already dead. The discovery stunned investigators. For more than 30 years, the question who killed the yogurt shop girls had consumed the community. Now they had an answer, but it came with a cruel irony. The killer could never be questioned, never stand trial, never face a jury. Authorities have not released his full name publicly, but sources confirmed he had a troubled history. He lived in Texas during the early 90s, blending into society while carrying the darkest of secrets. He died before science could expose him. For the families, the revelation brought a bittersweet closure. They finally knew the truth, but not in the way they had prayed for. When the news broke, Austin paused. 33 years had passed since the fire consumed the yogurt shop. 33 Christmases had come and gone for families who never saw their daughters grow up, graduate, fall in love, or build lives of their own. Now they had a name, but not justice. As one family member put it, "It feels like answers, but it doesn't feel like closure." The yogurt shop murders remain a chilling reminder of both the fragility of life and the endurance of science. The case exposed flaws in the justice system, how tunnel vision and coerced confessions nearly destroyed innocent lives. It revealed the tireless persistence of investigators who refused to give up, even after decades. And it underscored the haunting reality that sometimes the truth comes too late. Today, the site of the old yogurt shop is long gone. But for Austin, the memory lingers. Parents still tell their children the story, warning them of dangers that lurk in the ordinary. Detectives still reference the case in training, an example of both mistakes made and lessons learned. Most of all, for names remain etched into the city's soul. Jennifer, Sarah, Eliza, and Amy. Their laughter once filled a yogurt shop. Their futures once seemed limitless. And though justice may never fully come, their story, burned into Austin's history, will never be forgotten.